All right, so I will probably do Libra more justice than any other personality type. This will probably be the longest video. Joke and a joke, but there is a lot to talk about here with Libra. All right, so Libra gets misunderstood in two opposite ways, either romanticized as harmless or overestimated as structurally dominant. Today, I'm doing neither. I'm explaining what Libra actually does well and what happens when pressure hits. So, my name is Heather, and this channel is called Underwater Panther. The work I do here sits at the intersection of astro-psychology, moral cognition, shadow integration, and cultural power dynamics. I run multiple long-form series exploring how different minds processes values, identity, authority, relationships, and meaning across psychology, astrology, generational dynamics, culture, psyche, and consciousness. All right, so we are talking about ranking the personality types from the most masculine to the most feminine under pressure. So, before I show this ranking, I need to slow the room down for a moment. This is not a ranking of worth, morality, intelligence, or superiority. This is a ranking of which archetypes naturally lead with masculine function versus feminine function under pressure. When I say masculine, I mean structure, direction, boundaries, responsibility, consequence, and containment. When I say feminine, I mean integration, attunement, relational intelligence, meaning making, and emotional continuity. But every archetype has a default lead function, especially when systems destabilize. And here's the critical point. When an archetype is forced to lead from its non native polarity, it doesn't become balanced. It becomes overextended, distorted, or resentful. So, as we move from masculine, the most masculine leading, to most feminine leading, we are not moving from strong to weak. We're moving from structure first minds to connection first minds, each carrying moral weight differently, and each breaking differently when overloaded. With that clarified, let's look at what healthy versus distorted masculine and feminine actually look like. So, first, I'm going to go through the list I have here. So, I have been studying polarity for over a decade now. I am mostly Capricorn ISTJ energy. I am a stellium Capricorn, Moon, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, midheaven, and then I am an Aries rising, 0 degrees, and Aquarius, 11th house, Mercury. And so I am very, very masculine. And then my ego is Pisces, Venus Pisces, North Node Pisces. So I am the extremes of masculine and feminine. So I have been trying to figure my own self out for over a decade when it comes to the feminine and masculine. So I'm very heavily into this topic, heavily invested into this topic. So have continuously researched this topic. I have listened to so many different professionals, so many different people. I research every single day. So this is where I am at. All right, so let's get into the list. We have number 1, Capricorn, or the ISTJ, due to Saturn containment and consequence. Number 2, Aries, ESTP, Mars, initiation and force of action. Number 3, Aquarius, INTJ, structural ethics and systems direction. Number 4, Leo, ENFP, visible leadership and morale direction. Number 5, Sagittarius, ISTP, meaning, direction, and doctrine pressure. Virgo, ESFJ. Number 6, standardization and corrective containment. Number 7, Scorpio, or the ENFP, power containment internally and control risk when split. Number 8, we have Gemini, ENTJ, due to the androgynous bridge. They oscillate, can look masculine when detached and feminine when attuned. So Aries, Gemini, and you Libra will be the most triggered about this list. I am going to go extremely in depth here due to that reason. And I'm also going to make a follow-up video combining Aries, Gemini, and Libra together, and doing like a video explaining first and then comparing those personalities with the other ones. So, anyways, I'm ready. I am strapped in and ready for debate. It's totally fine with me. And then we have number 9, Taurus, ESTJ, yin, stable but outwardly quiet authority through consistency. Number 10, Libra, ENTP, relational governance and harmony first outwardly. Number 11, Cancer, ENFJ, protective containment but feminine, leading via emotional safety. And last but not least, per normal, Pisces, INFJ, dissolution, unity, and compassion first. So that is the list. This video is for Libra, and I have 2 more videos to do this evening, plus the follow-up video. And so I'll probably be filming for about 3 hours tonight. I'm going to assume this will be an hour, hour and a half. All right, so I'm going to pull up your key card. I made these key cards many, many years ago. So I do combine astrology with psychology. The psychology portion is the hero, parent, child, and inferior. And the astrological portion is the ruler, exaltation, left field, or detriment, and fall. Now, I intentionally put the hero in the right-hand corner. The hero function is extremely autopilot. So we become so good at this function that we become very prideful and unaware that we're doing it. And so I wanted to put an emphasis on the parent function because that is where we are actually normally responsible or feel responsible. So I just wanted to play with your mind even more than I am going to in this video. All right, so Libra, ENTP. Relational feminine balance, the architect of social peace. Why Libra is ranked 10th. Harmony comes after reality, truth, structure, and stability. Libra does not appear early in the sequence because harmony without truth becomes manipulation. Before Libra can do its work, reality must be shared, Gemini, shadow must be faced, Scorpio, systems must function, Virgo, meaning must exist with Sagittarius, morale must live with Leo, structure must hold with Capricorn, life must stabilize with Taurus, and care must protect with Cancer. So Cancer is actually next. So only then can Libra enter and ask the question no other archetype is designed to hold. How do we live together without tearing each other apart? Libra is not here to avoid conflict. Libra is here to prevent social collapse. Civilizations do not fall only from chaos or violence. They fall when trust dissolves, when fairness disappears, when shared rules stop meaning anything, and when people no longer believe they will be treated with dignity. That is Libra's jurisdiction. Core function, how Libra was built. Libra is an air sign. So yes, you are an intellectual. The air signs are considered the intellectuals psychologically. So Libra is an air sign with a yin, feminine, leading polarity. Now I'm going to slam on the brakes already, and normally psychologists or whoever gets into the MBTI, whatever you want to call the personality people, they would consider, Jungian people would consider Libras to be masculine leading due to extroverted intuition. Normally, they look at the first function and call it, if it's extroverted, masculine, introverted, feminine. So I disagree with that now. And intuition is intuition. I will tell you that right now. It is what it is. It's a very feminine function. Intuition. I mean, come on now. And then we have Venus as the ruler. Venetian energy is very feminine. All right. So, governed by Venus and oriented towards external relational intelligence, Libra does not read systems the way Aquarius or INTJ does. nor bodies the way Taurus or ESTJ does. It reads between people. Its cognition is relational, attuned, and contextual. Under pressure, Libra does not move forward or inward. It moves sideways across perspectives. Its function is to attune balance, mediate, and restore relational equilibrium. Libra scans for imbalance the way the body scans for pain. When relationships tilt unfairly, Libra feels unsafe at an existential level. Libra's governing question under stress is simple and relentless. Is this fair to everyone involved? When fairness collapses, Libra experiences the world as unstable, no matter how successful, efficient, or impressive the system looks. So, the moral load, what Libra carries. Libra carries relational moral weight. Its ethics are not ideological, they are interpersonal. Libra morality sounds like: was anyone exploited? Did power tilt unfairly? Did we preserve dignity? Libra absorbs social tension so groups don't fracture. That's why Libra often looks passive. It's holding multiple perspectives simultaneously. I just scrolled way too far. Libra morality is concerned with dignity, reciprocity, and proportionality. It asks whether power tilted unfairly, whether someone was exploited, whether voices were silenced, or whether social and whether social contracts were honored. Libra absorbs social tension so groups do not fracture. It holds competing perspectives simultaneously, often at personal cost. This is why Libra can appear passive or indecisive, because it is actually carrying the weight of everyone else's position at the same time. Libra is not neutral because it doesn't care. Libra is neutral because it cares about everyone. How Libra resists and fails identity capture. Libra resists capture through perspective taking. It questions absolutes. It invites dialogue. It instinctively weighs both sides before committing to a position. It distrusts moral certainty that cannot tolerate nuance. However, Libra has a critical vulnerability. It can be captured through belonging anxiety. When social rupture feels imminent, Libra may outsource moral authority to consensus, what everyone thinks. Now, I already know the Jungian people are getting triggered. Normally, that's a TE function, but hear me out. Quietly replaces internal truth. Peace becomes more important than honesty. When overwhelmed, Libra does not choose wrongly. It stops choosing at all. All right, I need a drink already. All right, so what collapses when relational trust disappears? When trust and fairness collapses, Libra is devastated. The losses Libra feels most acutely are the breakdown of social contracts, shared norms, and legitimate governance. When rules feel arbitrary and power feels unchecked, Libra's core orientation dissolves. In this state, Libra becomes exhausted from mediating everyone else while never choosing itself. Resentment accumulates quietly. Anxiety becomes chronic. Modern distortions emerge quickly. Appeasement is mistaken for peace. Conflict avoidance is reframed as moral superiority. Decisions are deferred endlessly in the name of harmony. Without trust norms, Libra sacrifices truth to keep the room calm. Split risk when politeness replaces truth. Libra splits when harmony becomes identity. Truth starts to feel too disruptive. Fairness replaced with optics. Politeness replaces honesty. This is not kindness, it is social manipulation through silence. Excuse me. Libra does not intend to deceive. It is trying to prevent rupture. But when harmony is preserved at the cost of truth, the social fabric rots from the inside. Peace without honesty is not peace. It is delayed collapse. Masculine and feminine expression, how Libra feels to others. Libra men often present as composed, diplomatic, and socially intelligent. They know how to read a room, soften sharp edges, and keep interpersonal environments civil. Their presence tends to lower immediate tension. Conversations feel smoother, conflicts feel temporarily manageable. People often experience Libra men as reasonable, fair, and emotionally regulated, someone who can keep things from escalating. But under sustained pressure, a gap emerges. Libra men frequently defer responsibility when it requires direct confrontation or consequence bearing. Rather than naming a truth, they postpone it. Rather than enforcing a boundary, they reframe the issue. Rather than choosing a side, they wait for consensus. This creates a subtle displacement of labor. Others end up carrying the weight of decisions Libra avoided finalizing. The environment stays polite, but unresolved issues quietly compound. People often walk away from Libra men with a vague but persistent question. Where do you actually stand when it matters? The charm remains, but authority feels diffused. Libra women often embody relational intelligence in a way that feels immediately stabilizing. They sense imbalance quickly, bring emotional order to chaotic spaces, and guide interactions toward fairness and mutual consideration. Their leadership style is rarely loud, it's aesthetic, tonal, and relational. People feel cared for, included, and gently oriented back towards cooperation. The shadow emerges when harmony becomes a survival strategy rather than a shared value. Libra women may over-accommodate, suppress discomfort, and sacrifice their own needs to preserve peace. Over time, self-betrayal accumulates. Resentment grows beneath a pleasant surface. Moral authority is subtly outsourced to group approval. Because saying no feels more dangerous than being quietly depleted. When pressure finally breaks containment, the shift can feel jarring. What others experience as a sudden snap is actually the delayed arrival of boundaries that were never enforced early enough. So, the core tension for both Libra men and women, the fundamental tension is the same. Peace without truth collapses. Libra excels at maintaining civility, but civility cannot replace structure. Harmony cannot substitute for accountability. Should we take a moment of silence for that one? I'm going to repeat that, okay? Harmony cannot substitute for accountability. When balance is preserved by avoiding reality, the system eventually destabilizes, and Libra absorbs the blame it tried to prevent. All right, so why Libra and Gemini are less masculine under pressure than they appear. So I'm going to explain this more at the end, but I had to put this here. It's a thing. Geminis and Libras are going to be the most triggered and the most communicative about these videos. And I'm here for it as an Aquarian. Y'all, Gemini is the baby, Libra is the middle kid, middle child, and Aquarius is the elder of the air signs. So I'm here for it, y'all. Why Libra and Gemini are less masculine under pressure than they appear. Brace yourself. Libra and Gemini, so Libra, ENTP, and Gemini, ENTJ, are often perceived as masculine because they are air dominant, articulate, confident, intellectually agile, and socially assertive. They speak well, they argue well, they sound certain. In a culture that mistakes verbal dominance and rational, sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. All right, so in a culture that mistakes verbal dominance and rational framing for masculinity, this creates an illusion of strength. But masculinity is not tested in conversation. It's tested in consequence. Under pressure, masculinity polarity shows up as decisiveness without reassurance, tolerance for conflict and disapproval, willingness to enforce boundaries, capacity to carry outcomes personally, embodied follow through when consensus fails. Libra and Gemini both struggle here for different reasons. Libra prioritizes relational equilibrium. When harmony is threatened, it negotiates instead of enforcing. It reframes instead of finalizing. It waits for agreement instead of acting alone. This places Libra toward the feminine end under pressure because it regulates through relationship rather than direction. Gemini, by contrast, disperses pressure cognitively. When reality hardens, Gemini or ENTJ multiplies options, narratives, and angles. It moves laterally instead of forward. It stays mobile instead of anchored. Under pressure, Gemini avoids containment entirely. Intellectually brilliant, but structurally evasive. Believe me, y'all, I'm not even getting into personal. I'm going to not get into personal. I have had to learn this the hard way. I will put it that way. All right. So both signs are powerful communicators and coordinators, but neither naturally carries load-bearing authority when resistance appears. They're excellent at influencing people, mobilizing ideas, delegating effort, and framing outcomes. They prefer not to absorb backlash, enforce consequences, do heavy or embodied labor, stand alone against opposition. That doesn't make them weak, but does place them lower on the masculine hierarchy when reality hits and something must be held, not explained. They sound masculine, they think masculine, but under pressure, they regulate like air signs through people, language, and movement rather than through force, structure, or containment. And pressure always reveals the difference. I'm going to feel like a huge heavy weight has been lifted after I get this out of my system. I have been trying to understand this for the last decade, and I finally feel satisfied. And this isn't just through research. I know a crap ton of people, young and old, with these personalities. And my grandfather is actually a Libra. And I have family Gemini Libras, coworkers. I dated one for many years, and so anyways, this is also from personal experience. And I'm totally here for debate. All right, so the 4-point planetary and cognitive architecture. So now I'm going to move on to the key card you're looking at. So why Libra feels gentle until it suddenly snaps. At its core, Libra is governed by relational attunement. Libra does not experience reality primarily as me versus the world. It experiences reality as a living social field where equilibrium determines whether life feels safe, fair, and sustainable. All of my actual best girlfriends were Geminis and Libra growing up my entire life. It's very fascinating to like go back in your history of relationships of all kinds and look back and see the pattern of personalities that you hung out with. So I absolutely love y'all both. All right. So when the relational environment is balanced, Libra's nervous system can rest. When it is distorted, unjust, or tense, Libra's system stays on alert, even if nothing is outwardly dramatic. Libra's sensitivity is not emotional fragility. It is a structural awareness. Its nervous system continuously scans for imbalance. Who holds unspoken power? Who is being subtly sidelined? Where resentment is quietly accumulating? Where truth is being softened to avoid conflict? And where the emotional temperature is about to tip? This makes Libra socially brilliant and deeply misunderstood. From the outside, it can look agreeable, gentle, or conflict avoidant. From the inside, it feels like constant calibration. Because Libra is attempting to prevent relational breakdown before it becomes irreversible. All right, so we're going to get into extroverted intuition hero and a Venus ruling planet. Perspective, expansion, relational intelligence, and the shadow of endless balance. Libra's heroic cognition is extroverted intuition. And in Libra, it is guided by Venus rather than operating freely. This means Libra's NE does not generate possibilities for novelty or exploration alone. It generates options in service of relational balance. Venus provides the value system: fairness, dignity, reciprocity, and aesthetic coherence. NE supplies the mental agility to imagine pathways where competing needs can coexist without humiliation or domination. In health, this produces extraordinary diplomatic intelligence. Libra can hear what someone is trying to say beneath clumsy language. It can sense the fear underneath aggression and the grief underneath withdrawal. It reframes conflicts in ways that preserves dignity on all sides. This is why Libra often mediates better than the people directly involved. It can articulate each position more cleanly than the person holding it. At its best, Venus-guided NE finds the third option no one else could see. In shadow, this same function becomes a trap. Venus NE can endlessly reframe reality to avoid confrontation. Libra keeps generating explanations, alternative interpretations, and softer narratives long after something is clearly harmful. The mind stays busy so the heart doesn't have to accept a painful truth. Sometimes the most ethical move is not balance, it is separation. Shadow Libra confuses fairness with symmetry and assumes that if everyone's perspective is acknowledged, the system is just, even when one side is constantly violating the agreement. So now we're going to move into TI parent with Saturn. Moral architecture, suppressed authority, and the sudden snap. Beneath Libra's softness is a spine. Introverted thinking, stabilized by Saturn. This is the part most people never see. Libra is not only harmony seeking, it is principled, governed. TI asks hard internal questions. Is this coherent? Is this consistent? Are the same rules being applied to everyone? Saturn adds weight and consequence. If we allow this, what precedent are we setting? What does this normalize over time? This function is why Libra ultimately snaps, not from irritation, but from structural violation. Libra tolerates discomfort far longer than most archetypes, but it cannot tolerate moral incoherence indefinitely. When TI Saturn is integrated, Libra becomes a quiet authority. It can enforce boundaries without cruelty. It can remain kind while saying, no, this does not work. In this state, Libra's gentleness is grounded in law, not appeasement. In shadow, TI Saturn goes underground. Libra appears cooperative while internally tracking every inconsistency. It builds an invisible ledger, not to punish, but to understand whether the system can still be trusted. Others mistake this patience for weakness. When the internal scale can no longer be balanced, Saturn activates decisively. The boundary arrives fully formed, firm, and non-negotiable. This is a snap, and it shocks people because they only saw Venus, not the law behind Venus. Now we're going to move on to FE child, extroverted feeling child, and Mars. Fast regulation, suppressed anger, and the pressure cooker effect. So Libra's relational action system operates through FE child, energized by Mars. When tensions appears, Libra moves immediately. It smooths, redirects, negotiates, jokes, softens tone, changes pacing, and attempts to restore cooperation before conflict escalates. This is not avoidance, it is rapid regulation. In health, FE Mars is social first aid. Libra can de escalate situations before damage spreads. It intervenes with precision rather than force, using timing, language, and emotional intelligence to stabilize the environment. People often underestimate how much effort Libra expends to keep things workable. In shadow, FE Mars suppresses conflict instead of resolving it. Mars wants closure. FE wants harmony. Together, they may choose the fastest peace rather than the truest one. Libra says it's fine when it's not, smiles while resentment accumulates, and postpones necessary confrontation. Anger is compressed into politeness. When the system finally overloads, Mars erupts through FE mask, sharp, sudden, and decisive. The snap feels disproportionate only because the buildup was invisible. Now we're going to move into Sun and introverted sensing inferior, identity, memory, failure, and the late boundary. Libra Sun reflects its identity drive. I harmonize, I balance, I civilize the space between people. The danger is over identification. When Libra believes its worth depends on keeping peace, conflict begins to feel like personal failure. Libra starts performing harmony instead of living truth. It stays longer, forgives more, and absorbs discomfort to preserve relational continuity. This is compounded by introverted sensing in the inferior position. SI holds memory of precedent, patterns, and boundary violations. Libra struggles here because it prioritizes intention and atmosphere over impact. It remembers how things feel and what people meant, but not always what actually happened repeatedly. Relationships reset without rules being updated. This is why Libra gives too many chances, not out of naivete, but because SI does not reliably hold the evidence. So it's very fascinating to me. I wish I had SI. Regardless of the position because they actually do have amazing memories. I would say that Libras actually have the best memory. Probably Capricorn or ISTJ. But Libras have amazing, phenomenal memories, but that the memory is like names, dates, who's related to who. It's very, very fascinating. Timelines, they can see timelines, unlike myself. I'm like directionally challenged and timeline challenged. They can certainly think laterally when it's dealing with time and relationships and people and birthdays and when people were married, and they do have a good memory, but not when it comes to boundaries being crossed by other people. All right, so in shadow, this creates boundary amnesia. The same violations recur. Libra explains them away until the nervous system cannot carry the cost anymore. When SI integrates, everything changes. Libra begins remembering clearly. Libra begins remembering clearly. Patterns become undeniable. Forgiveness becomes conditional. The late boundary appears, not as chaos, but as self-respect finally embodied. What others call a mood swing is actually identity reasserting itself. All right, is there anything else I want to say? I don't think so. I think that was pretty good, honestly. What am I at? 34 minutes? Great. All right, so how these four work together and where shadow forms. Venus, guided NE, searches for balance and shared dignity. TI Saturn evaluates whether the system is coherent and just. FE Mars acts quickly to regulate emotional tension. SI struggles to retain boundary memory consistently. In health, this creates a relational architect, someone who keeps social systems humane, fair, and functional. In shadow, harmony replaces integrity, memory fails, and anger is delayed rather than expressed. Libra collapses not because it is weak, but because it carries imbalance longer than it should. Libra thrives when truth is spoken with tact and structure. Libra collapses when tact becomes self erasure and structure is sacrificed for peace. Libra feels gentle because it is trying to keep the system from breaking. Libra snaps when it realizes the system has been breaking it instead. All right, so Libra sounds masculine, Libra looks masculine, Libra argues masculine, but under pressure, consequence, and embodied reality, Libra is not leading with masculine polarity. So, integrated role, the payoff. Integrated Libra does not avoid conflict, it holds conflict with dignity. At its highest expression, Libra becomes the diplomat who understands that peace requires honesty, the arbiter who restores balance without erasing reality, and the architect of social order people can actually trust. I gotta say something. Because it does not sacrifice truth to maintain appearances. All right, so my grandmother, she's a Leo, ENFP, married to my grandfather, Libra, ENTP. She would always say, my grandpa, she had this saying. I have like a big list of all of her sayings. One of her sayings was, he loves to stir the freaking pot. He loves to stir the pot. And it's like, of course he does. He stirs the pot in relationships. He talks crap to one person and to the other person, and they're upset at each other. Then he comes in like, oh, well, here, let me mediate this. And now I'm going to restore peace so you guys are cool. Peace, they love peace and balance, but by their own terms, okay? They will stir the pot, and that's not being truthful or honest, okay? Don't stir the pot just so you can figure out how you want peace to be. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Tangent, it's a problem to this day. Like, over exaggerating information, having everyone in a freaking frenzy. He just did that to me last week. I was like beside myself. I know better. Like, I know better by now. You know, I've known him my whole freaking life, and it still catches me up, and it's like, duh. Like, over exaggerating information to get everyone in a frenzy. Everyone starts, you know, communicating like freaking chickens. Like, everyone turns into chickens with their heads cut off. Don't do that, Libra. Do not do that, Libra. All right, so be honest here. I feel like I should repeat this whole freaking. At its highest expression, Libra becomes the diplomat who understands that peace requires honesty, the arbiter who restores balance without erasing reality, the architect of social order people can actually trust, because it does not sacrifice truth to maintain appearances. Libra teaches society that harmony is not the absence of tension, but the presence of fairness. All right, I feel so much better. Libra governs the space between people. Libra doesn't avoid conflict, they schedule it for Q4 and never confirm the invite. I had to put a little bit of dry humor. All right. I do talk about humor. I break down Gemini, Libra, and Aquarian humor at the very, very end. I had to leave this. I'm going to leave this presentation off with some talking about humor. All right. All right. So Libra balances relationships. I always say that. I'm like, all right. I do that like I've been that way my whole life, and it drives me nuts when I'm rewatching my videos. I'm like, all right, I'm like pumping myself up, like before like lifting this set. I'm like, all right, let's get, you know, it's just my little thing. We all have our little freaking quirky things, all right? All right, so I do it. I cannot not do it. At least I don't say like anymore. Like was a really bad thing. Saying like 25,000 times. I don't do that anymore, but not that I'm aware of. That all right. pumping myself up. Libra balances relationships. So we are going to talk about, all right, so this is actually the bonus. So that was going to be the end of my video. What am I at? Almost 40 minutes. So I did add on quite a bit because I do want to do Libra justice, you know? All right, so Libra confuses articulation with masculine force. So I'm going to break down more on why I do not put Libra as one of the most masculine. Top, I can't even remember. C.S. Joseph, I absolutely love C.S. Joseph. I don't agree on everything that he talks about. Obviously, you're never going to agree with somebody in the entirety, but he reminds me of an ENFP. So he's an ENTJ, or I mean ENTP, excuse me. Libra. He's a Libra ENTP, and he reminds me of Scorpios or ENFPs. Scorpios and Libras both preach that they are very masculine. It's a thing, like legitimate. It's a thing. And if you're preaching that you're alpha, you're not actually alpha. So I'm just getting that out there. I adore him, but I'm going to do this presentation justice because there is a lot of confusion. I'm an Aquarius INTJ mind. You best believe your ass. I'm going to break this down unlike anyone else. So I have receipts. All right, so Libra confuses. When I get excited, I start almost eating the microphone. Libra confuses articulation with masculine force. I did mention this earlier a little bit. So Libra is air in Venus. That produces verbal fluency, conceptual framing. The men are going to be the most triggered. Obviously, the women aren't going to care as much. So really, this is kind of for the men or women trying to understand your man. I get it. You call that a cross watcher. How many cross watchers do I have here? Very curious. So Libra is air and Venus. That produces verbal fluency, conceptual framing, persuasive logic, social navigation, and moral rhetoric. Masculine polarity is not how well you explain reality. Masculine polarity is direction under pressure, tolerance for conflict, enforcement of consequence, embodied follow through, and capacity to be disliked without collapsing. Libra excels at describing structure, justice, and systems. And C.S. Joseph, probably the best on the planet of Earth. He's a guru, and I like saying that because I think it's hysterical. He's a guru of all gurus when it comes to like psychoanalyzing and relational dynamics. He is the top dog in understanding relational dynamics. I wish I could do that. My mind is more like, let's pick this piece. Like I don't see the dynamics like he does. It takes me a hell of a lot longer to get there. I like focusing on the actual archetype itself and picking apart each little, the seventh house, the Venus, the NE, I like to do that, try to pick apart within the individual archetype. Libras, on the other hand, they are amazing at understanding dynamics between the archetypes. I wish I had their freaking memory, man. It's amazing. So anyways, I'm not totally dogging you guys. I do love you guys. Like, all right. So Libra excels at describing structure, justice, and systems. I definitely admire you for that. Not envy, admire. Don't get it twisted. It struggles with being the structure when someone resists. So Libra mistakes, I can explain this clearly. 4, I can carry authority when this goes sideways. Those are not the same skill. Number 2, Libra is intellectually masculine, but behaviorally feminine under stress. This is the key distinction. Libra's cognition is sharp. Abstract reasoning, ethical debate, systems language, and verbal dominance in discussion. That reads as masculine to people who equate masculinity with competence, assertiveness, logic, and debate performance. Reminds me of Virgos. Virgo, y'all, Y'all, I stand up for Virgos like a MF. They come off as dry and like I don't know. Virgos really ESFJ. Yeah, ESFJs. They tend to trigger people because of that Mercury. They're also good at communication. I'm just going off on a tangent, but like they can debate really good too, and it's like not Virgo. Like they think they're masculine as well. The men. Virgo men, Libra men, and Gemini men, all I'm gonna have to add Virgo. So my follow-up video after I finish this, I gotta add Virgo in there. Note to myself, they think they're so masculine because they're good at the communication, the debating, the performance of it all. Y'all, I can't. All right, but under real world pressure, when people push back, consequences land, someone refuses cooperation, harmony breaks. Libra defaults to relational management, not enforcement. This is feminine polarity. Masculine polarity does not negotiate its authority when tested. Libra does. And I also get into Libra's managerial or lack thereof managing people. I will break that down as well because that is something that has driven me nuts my entire life with my grandfather. He can't manage people for crap. Oh, God, it's the amount of money that people's sob stories has costed that Libra man. All right. Number 3, Libra's power style is indirect by design. Libra is very good at positioning people, framing incentives, appealing to values, leveraging social dynamics, and getting others to do the heavy lifting. Hello, SI inferior. That is not a flaw, it is strategic. But it's not masculine leadership, it's social orchestration. Libra prefers to influence rather than impose, to persuade rather than carry, to delegate effort rather than embody it. Do y'all feel naked yet? I felt naked. I felt naked in my Aquarius video. I know. It's like, it's wild, ain't it? All right. That's why Libra often avoids physical labor when possible, avoids being the final enforcer, avoids absorbing blame, and avoids being the bad guy. Masculine polarity absorbs friction directly. Libra reroutes it socially. Number 4, under pressure. My dad's a Scorpio and my grandpa's a Libra, and it's just Libras love to like do the tough love when it comes to family. Libras like care more. I'm just gonna be flat with you right now. Flat, dry flatness. Libras care more about how others are like viewing them relationally. Libras care more about what other people think of them relationally rather than their own family. They are so freaking tough love on their family, and I understand that. Don't get me wrong. I'm tough love too. Like my whole personality is very masculine. I'm tough love too, but Libras, man, y'all are a little bit rough. Little rough when it comes to that. So, under pressure, Libra collapses down the polarity stack. When reality hits the road, deadlines, consequences, confrontation, non cooperative people, physical or emotional strain, Libra does not harden into containment. Instead, it over explains, reframes endlessly, seeks agreement that won't come, delays decisions, relies on social leverage, or withdraws and snaps late. That's why Libra ranks low under pressure, even if it ranks high in discourse. Masculinity is tested when no one agrees with you and you still act. Libra struggles here. Number 5, why some Libras preach masculinity loudly. You know, I've even noticed like I do a whole bunch of birth charts. I know a lot of people, I've done a whole like hundreds of birth charts, and I have noticed that even if someone has like in their moon, Mars, Mercury if they even have like a different sign in the house, not the 7th house of Libra, they just scream alpha all the time. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I know someone that has, hold on, let me look real quick. Sorry, I apologize, but I gotta look real quick while I'm on it. If I don't, I'm gonna forget it. What is it? Okay, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Like, this stuff fires me up. Oh, so many Libra men are like preaching. They're preaching. They like to preach. It's just all right. Anyways, so why some Libras preach masculinity loudly? Libras often identifies as masculine because it doesn't feel emotionally expressive like Cancer or Pisces. It values fairness, logic, and principles. It dislikes being seen as soft. It operates intellectually, not sentimentally. I'm doing this. I'm doing this under the table, the Italian thing, just so you know. So Libra says, I'm masculine because I'm rational, but rationality does not equal masculine polarity. That's air dominance, not masculine dominance. So let me finish. I'm talking to myself. True masculine polarity shows up when you enforce boundaries without consensus, you tolerate being disliked, you choose outcomes over optics, you act without reassurance. Libra wants reassurance that the room still likes them. That is the tell. I just totally lost it. That's why I have to say whatever I'm thinking immediately or write it down because it's gone. Number 6, the harsh but accurate reframe. Libra is not weak. Libra is not stupid. Libra is not incapable. Libra is a negotiator, not a commander. A strategist of people, not a carrier of load. An intellectual coordinator, not an embodied executor, which places Libra near the bottom under pressure, not because it lacks intelligence, but because it avoids direct force, consequence, and embodiment. Libra believes masculinity is sounding right. Reality proves masculinity is standing firm when sounding right no longer works. That's why the gap shows. Libra shines before pressure. Masculine archetypes shine during pressure. And when the road gets real, that difference becomes undeniable. All right, what are we at now? All right, so now I want to get into Libra's managerial style. Managing people. Libra struggles with people management specifically because its cognitive architecture is built to balance relationships, not direct behavior. Managing people requires tolerating asymmetry, enforcing hierarchy, and allowing short-term relational discomfort in service of long-term function. 3 things that directly stresses Libra's nervous system. So I absolutely have to do this because my grandfather has had this issue his entire freaking life. He's a farmer, he's got multiple businesses, and he's an insane serial entrepreneur. I will put it that way, but oh my god. All right, and also C.S. Joseph has talked about this. Let me think. I think those are the 2 biggest, like, business style-wise. All right, so Libra prioritizes relational equilibrium over role clarity. Effective people management requires clear asymmetry. Who decides, who executes, who is accountable, who absorbs consequences. Libra is wired to flatten power gradients, not reinforce them. Its instinct is to equalize voices, soften authority, and maintain psychological safety. That works beautifully for mediation, culture building, and diplomacy, but management demands inequality by design. Someone must be disappointed. Someone must be corrected. Someone must be told no without emotional cushioning. Libra experiences that as destabilizing rather than functional. So instead of enforcing structure, Libra keeps negotiating it. Number two, Libra delays enforcement until resentment replaces clarity. Good managers correct early, neutrally, and consistently. Libra waits, not because it doesn't see the problem. Libra sees it immediately, but because it keeps hoping relational calibration will fix it without confrontation. It reframes, re explains, gives benefit of the doubt, and absorbs friction to preserve harmony. The problem: small issues don't get addressed. Patterns repeat, resentment accumulates, and authority erodes quietly. By the time a Libra does intervene, the response is emotionally charged, surprising, or disproportionate. The I'm sorry, y'all. When you guys blow up, I just sit there and laugh. Like I can't deal with a Libra blowing up. It's still like soft to me, and I'm just sitting here like laughing my ass off. Like I can't, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think Libra women would terrify me a little. Libra men, when they blow up, I'm sorry. Okay, so by the time Libra, I'm very heavy Saturn. I'm like through and through Saturn, almost my entire personality, and it's just funny to me. By the time Libra does intervene, the response is emotionally charged, surprising, or disproportionate. Hello, Mars in the freaking left field. Left field Mars. It's like they're yelling at you, but softly, or it's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, get real. Because it's carrying weeks or months of unspoken frustration. That's not leadership failure, that's delayed boundary activation. I think I went harder on Gemini and Libra than anyone else. Like, I'm an Aquarius. Hello. Like, I can't. It's fun. Libra manages feelings instead of outcomes. Libra's default question in group settings is, how is everyone feeling about this? A manager's primary question must be, is this working? Libra instinctively tracks morale, tone, inclusion, and fairness before metrics, timelines, or consequences. This causes three chronic issues in management roles. Underperformers are protected too long. God, I'm sorry. My grandfather is just burnt through so much money because of bad management. I'm just very personally invested in this freaking presentation, okay, y'all? I'm just trying to help you out. All right, so Libra instinctively tracks morale, tone, inclusion, and fairness before metrics. I'm eating my microphone. Timelines or consequences. This causes three chronic issues in management roles. Underperformers are protected too long. High performers feel unrecognized or overburdened. Standards become negotiable based on emotional context. Now, I'm just gonna give you personal experience. I worked for my grandfather for 5 years in the accounting department. The accounting department, 3 businesses. Was it 3 at the time or 4? I think it was only 3 businesses in 1 building, and I was doing the accounting for everything, okay? Underperformers are protected too long. There were 2 freaking management, whatever the hell they were doing, sitting on their fat asses. They were sitting on their fat asses, acting like they were working for my grandfather. And they were literally stealing money and like chainsaws and selling my grandfather's shit online on eBay. And they would bully the shit out of me for like a year. And I'm finally, because I was like learning a whole bunch. Like I took so many courses, learning new software, trying to be able to like file, organize. I'm extremely organized. I'm high endurance. I work my ass off. I stayed weekends. I was working my ass off. Okay. And finally I got to the point where I knew the system inside and out. And I started seeing that there were accounts. Okay. They were like dumping money into these fake accounts. And I'm like, "Man," and then I started realizing things were missing. So they did end up going to the slammer. They were underperformers, they bullied me, and, like, why I just the pr I don't get this logic, protecting underperformers. They did underperform, like, hello? They did actually underperform. Like, it was just like, "What are you doing all day? I'm doing your work for you." And on top of that, like, things are really weird. Okay, so that's number 1. High performers feel unrecognized or overburdened. Now, he had a parts man. He had a parts man that worked for him for 20 years, something crazy. And I looked online. So my grandfather sells a whole bunch of crap on eBay. He's been doing it. They're actually ahead technologically. Libras, they love technology. Like, they're not afraid to try new things, like whatever. And I finally looked into this man's, like, on eBay. You have reviews on eBay. He was our parts man, and he would sell stuff online, mail it out. He had thousands and thousands and thousands of good, solid reviews. And I go up to him and I'm like, because I was like redoing the website. I wanted to have a better website for all these businesses. And I'm like, man, you haven't, I've literally to this day, I've never seen so many reviews and so many good reviews. And I'm like, when's the last time you had a raise? Never. Never. My grandfather talked shit about this person the entire time. Hard love, hard love. I get it. I get tough love, but like that man, like he ended up having cancer, and I did get him a raise before I left. And so it's just, do not get that type of management style. Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. If you do, let me know. But anyway, I'm on to you, and I get it. And it's like unfortunate for everyone involved. You're hurting yourself with this managerial style. Yeah, I mean, hey, we all have our virtues and vices, we all have our flaws. Anyways, Libra confuses emotional fairness with functional fairness. And in systems, those are not the same thing. So that is just something to be highly, highly aware of. It's can be very detrimental. So Libra struggles with, and they really fall for people's sob stories, I've noticed. Like, no. So Libra struggles with clean authority because it fears moral contamination. Libra equates being fair with being good. And I know I'm being so tough. I'm being so tough right now. But under all of that, I do want to say Libras have amazing hearts. They truly, truly do. Truly do. And it's like, I sat here one day and I asked my grandpa, I'm like, what is your deal? Like, what is this? What is really going on? And he said, this is my ticket to heaven. I'm helping people. Like, he gets stuck with the bill all the time. He just gets stuck with the bill in so many different businesses, stuck with the bill, literally. And I'm like, what is going on? This is my ticket to heaven. I'm helping people that need help. And I'm just like, alrighty. I mean, all right, it's your choice. So deep down, they do have very good hearts, and I do see you. I do see you, Libra. Libra's shadow fear is okay. So Libra equates being fair with being good. Management requires doing things that feel unfair in the moment, enforcing unpopular rules, prioritizing outcomes over consensus, holding people accountable who feel justified. Libra's shadow fear: if I enforce this, I become unjust. So it softens directives, crowdsources decisions, or over-explains authority, undermining itself. People stop taking Libra seriously, not because Libra lacks authority, but because Libra keeps apologizing for having it. Libra is built to govern people, between people, not over them. So I'm like hammering this because I've seen it my entire life, and I've been frustrated about it my entire life. So Libra is built to govern between people, not over them. This is the key distinction. Libra excels at mediation, negotiation, conflict resolution, ethics committees, diplomacy, cultural cohesion, and translating between opposing sides. Libra struggles with supervision, discipline, performance management, hierarchical enforcement, and unilateral decision making. Management is vertical. Libra is horizontal. Put simply, Libra is a judge, not a boss. When forced into management, Libra either overfunctions or withdraws. Under pressure, Libra tends to polarize into one of two shadow modes. Overfunctioning manager micromanages emotions. Micromanages emotionally, overaccommodates, takes responsibility for everyone's feelings, burns out. Withdrawal manager avoids confrontation, becomes passive, lets problems fester, and loses credibility. Both happen because Libra is trying to preserve harmony in a role that requires controlled disruption. The brutal truth and the reframe. Libra isn't bad at managing people. Libra is bad at commanding people. That's not a defect, it's a mismatch. So Libras thrive when paired with a strong structural authority. Capricorn ISTJ, Aries ESTB, and Virgo ESFJ. A clear system of rules it didn't have to invent, and a role where it can arbitrate, not enforce. When Libra is asked to be the final authority, it carries too much moral weight and too little structural backing. Libra wants everyone to feel respected. Management requires some people to feel corrected. That's why Libra struggles. Not because it lacks leadership, but because its leadership style belongs upstream of management, not inside it. I'm going to feel so much better after I get this video done. This stuff has been on my mind my entire life, I'm not going to lie. I'm just kind of curious if it's going to be cross watchers watching this or actual Libras invested in their own personality. All right, so now what are we getting into? All right, so now I'm going to compare Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra in relationships. Quickly. This is going to be a long video. I already knew it would. I have a lot to say. All right, so starting with Gemini, we are speaking about relational and communication between the air signs. I should probably make this into its own video, but yeah, why not? All right, so Gemini, we're talking about the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So Gemini, the translator and cognitive bridge. What Gemini is best at you know what? This is actually a Libra. I'm going to make this into its own video because y'all get it. Y'all get it. All right. So, and I do want to go into Libra's, where'd it go? Libra's musical intelligence. So, Lil Wayne, Libra, T-Pain, Libra. I absolutely love both. T-Pain, obviously, for his vocals more, but also his ability to cover songs, and obviously Lil Wayne for his lyrical genius. Libras are genius. Libras are absolutely genius. Don't get me wrong. Y'all are absolutely genius and very talented, extremely talented. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about musical intelligence. And okay, so why Libra produces exceptional singers, lyricists, and relationship theorists. So Libra's musical and lyrical talent is not accidental, and it's not just artsy air sign stuff. It comes from the same cognitive architecture that makes Libra gifted at relationship navigation, attunement to emotional symmetry, tone, and timing. Libra doesn't experience emotion as raw impulse the way fire or water signs do. Libra experiences emotion as relational movement. How desire, distance, conflict, longing, betrayal, reconciliation, and power exchange flow between people. That makes Libra uniquely capable of turning relationships into melody and narrative rather than confession. This is why Libra voices often sound smooth, balanced, seductive, or emotionally precise rather than explosive. Libra isn't venting, Libra is modulating. Now, Libras, I don't know, man, y'all come off as feminine. You're charming, you're beautiful normally, you got good voices. Like, they would argue that they're feminine up front and masculine underneath, but, under pressure, I'm talking about under pressure here. All right, so Effie and Venus, singing the emotional field, not just the feeling. Libra's Fe, guided by Venus, gives it the ability to feel the emotional climate of a relationship, not just one side of it. In music, this shows up as lyrics that capture mutual longing rather than one sided pain, tension without hysteria, desire that feels relational instead of needy, and heartbreak without collapse. Libra doesn't just sing what happened, Libra sings how it shifted. When affection cooled, when power tilted, when loyalty became uncertain, when desire stayed but trust didn't. That's why Libra artists often sound intimate without being messy. They can express vulnerability without losing composure. Listeners feel seen without feeling emotionally assaulted. NE and air. Lyrical pattern recognition and relational storytelling. Libra's air dominance gives it pattern awareness, and NE allows it to explore multiple emotional angles at once. This is what makes Libra such a strong lyricist rather than just a vocalist. Libra can narrate both sides of a relationship, frame conflict without demonizing, turn emotional ambiguity into poetry, and articulate we dynamics instead of just me. This is why Libra heavy creators often excel at relationship analysis as well, including people like C.S. Joseph, who breaks down relational polarity, masculine feminine tension, and interpersonal power with verbal precision. Libra doesn't just feel dynamics, it maps them. I'm just saying how much. So I do want to get into this because it's so fascinating. So why Libra dominates R&B, melody rap, and relationship-centered music. Libra thrives in musical spaces where tone, rhythm, and emotional pacing matter more than brute force. This is why Libra energy shows up strongly in genres that deal with love, power, longing, sex, regret, and reconciliation. Artists like Lil Wayne and T-Pain, especially in projects like Dedication era material, demonstrate this clearly. Even when the content is raw, the delivery is relational. The cadence carries seduction, detachment, confidence, and emotional control, not just confession. Libra influence shines when music negotiates desire instead of begging for it, expresses heartbreak without implosion, bleeds dominance and vulnerability, and feels smooth even when the subject matter isn't. That is air and Venus working together. The shadow side, when harmony replaces truth. The same gift that makes Libra such a powerful musician and relational communicator can become its weakness. In shadow, lyrics can become performative instead of honest. Beauty can soften accountability. Emotional truth gets stylized instead of resolved. Harmony masks resentment. This mirrors Libra's relational shadow, saying the right thing, sounding sincere, but avoiding the hardest truth because it might break the aesthetic or the bond. That's why some Libra created music feels endlessly seductive but never fully grounded. It circles attention without landing. All right, so I'm going to end this with comedic intelligence. How Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius use humor. All right, so actually, you know what? I think I might All right, so we're going to start with Gemini. Libra, who else? Aquarius. Do I have Aquarius still up here? Oh, I do. Okay, sweet. So I'm just going to leave this up here for the hell of it. Okay. I got to take the other one down. Libra. All right, cool. So comedic intelligence, how Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius use humor. So air signs are naturally comedic, but for very different reasons. Their humor doesn't come from raw emotion or physicality. It comes from pattern recognition. I'm just gonna hang on, give me a second. This is totally off the cuff. Air signs are naturally comedic, but for very different reasons. Their humor doesn't come from raw emotion or physicality. It comes from pattern recognition, timing, contrast, and social awareness. What differs is what they're relieving and how they apply pressure. All right, so I'm going to start with Gemini. I don't know why. I just felt like taking that down. Why I do that? Okay. Gemini, ENTJ, rapid fire observational chaos comedy. Gemini is the fastest comedian. Gemini humor comes from speed, juxtaposition, and verbal agility. They notice absurdity in real time and name it before anyone else has processed it. Their comedy feels spontaneous, playful, and slightly unhinged because Gemini is reacting while the moment is unfolding. Gemini excels at observational humor, wordplay, callbacks, exaggeration, flipping perspectives mid sentence, exposing contradictions through jokes. Gemini comedy disarms tension by moving it. If something gets heavy, Gemini cracks a joke to keep things from locking up. Laughter becomes motion. Humor is how Gemini stays free. Shadow side, under pressure, Gemini jokes instead of committing. Humor becomes deflection. Seriousness gets framed endlessly so no one has to land anywhere uncomfortably. The room lasts, but nothing resolves. Gemini comedy says this is ridiculous. Let's keep it light so we don't drown. All right, so now we're going to move on to Libra, the middle child. How does it feel? Libra is the smoothest comedian. Libra humor comes from social intelligence and relational awareness. They know exactly what can be said without crossing the line and how to flirt with the line without breaking the mood. Y'all are the yeah, I'd definitely call Libras the biggest flirt. Men and women, y'all are the biggest flirts. Their comedy is charming, self-aware, and often disarming. Libra excels at situational humor, playful teasing without cruelty, irony about relationships and etiquette, timing jokes to regulate group tension. Libra comedy maintains harmony. It's a tool for keeping the room together. When things get awkward, Libra makes them funny. When power dynamics feel uncomfortable, Libra fuses them with wit. Shadow side. Under pressure, Libra jokes instead of confronting. Humor becomes a buffer against truth. The laugh smooths over something that actually needs to be addressed. Eventually, resentment builds, and when Libra stops joking, the shift is shocking. Libra comedy says, let's laugh so this doesn't turn ugly. Oh God. Oh God, Aquarius. Freaking Aquarius. Where are you at? All right. So Aquarius, guess what? Dry, deadpan, truth bomb comedy. Y'all. Aquarius is the sharpest comedian. Aquarius humor comes from detachment and pattern disruption. They see the system behind the behavior and then casually point out how broken it is. Their comedy is often dry, unexpected, and slightly unsettling because it reveals things people weren't ready to see. Aquarius excels at deadpan delivery, absurdist and satirical humor, exposing social hypocrisy, making people laugh after the silence, making jokes, making jokes without meaning to make jokes, and then it turns into a 20-layer joke. Yeah. Aquarius doesn't use smooth humor to soothe. It uses humor to wake people up. The laugh comes with insight, sometimes delayed. I uh I was on a live stream. I gotta say this real quick. I was on a live stream with, God, who was it? Jeremiah. I'm so bad with freaking names. Y'all, I know. You're the best at remembering names. Jeremiah Schwartz or something like that, and he is like he deals with kinda like what I'm doing a little bit. He gets into nervous system integration, psychology, whatever. He gets into the psychological nervous system, trying to help others integrate themselves in various levels, mind, body, soul. And I sent him a super chat, and I ended up asking like 3 solid good questions. I knew it would stretch his mind, and I knew it would help his audience to, his audience, sometimes they just don't ask very good questions. They're not as far along in their whatever, their journey in intellectualism, um, embodiment, intellectualism, all of it really. Sometimes it's just like absurd, just like anyways, not very good questions. So I rapid fire sent deep questions I knew he could answer, but it would stretch him. Man, he nailed him. Is he a Libra? I think he is a Libra. Wait a minute. I'm pretty freaking sure he's a Libra. Hold on a second. I forgot about that. I literally keep a list of personalities and people. Uh, 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 is he? I still have the questions I asked him. I can't remember if he's a Libra. I'm pretty freaking sure he is. I can remember people's personalities before I can remember their names. He's a millennial. I can't remember. Dang. Anyways, I sent him a super chat, and I sent him some really good questions. I still have the questions in my phone, in my notes, and then after that, I sent another super chat, and I was like, "Sorry for racking your brain." And that's like what he does. Like he's trying to help people like with their minds, like, get into their nervous system, drop down in body, slow down your mind, working on the mind processing. And I was like, sorry for racking your brain. And it's like a medieval torture device, and he's like literally a therapist. Like it's like dry deadpan, and he read it out loud and he didn't get it. It's like really old school talk, like racking your brain torture device. Anyways, he just kind of was in live mode and read it, and I know like an hour later it smacked him in the face, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a therapist," and the girl is like racking your brain. I know it's probably not that funny, but to me it's hilarious. All right, so Aquarius, and I didn't even mean to like make the joke. I just sent it, and then I was like, "Oh my god, like a joke and a joke." Hello. Aquarius doesn't use humor to soothe; it uses humor to wake people up. The laugh comes with insight, sometimes delayed. Aquarius jokes often land harder later when the implication clicks. So I know he was probably like standing in his shower, like it smacked him in the face. I just know it had to happen. Shadow side. Under pressure, Aquarius humor becomes cutting. Wit turns into distance. Jokes can feel cold, superior, or dismissive if empathy isn't grounded. People laugh but also feel exposed. Aquarius comedy says, "This system is insane and I'm not pretending it's normal." So, who is more comedic? It depends on what kind of comedy you mean. Mostly naturally funny in conversation, Gemini. Best at keeping groups comfortable, Libra. Most intellectually devastating, Aquarius. All three use humor to manage reality. But Gemini moves away from pressure, Libra soothes pressure, and Aquarius reveals pressure. That is the distinction. All right. All right. So I'm going to end it here. I'm probably at freaking an hour and a half. So I had a lot of fun. With this. I love y'all, and I'm extremely interested in dynamics, the polarity dynamics, and this is just, I've been very frustrated with polarity dynamics within myself forever. And so, I take it all in. I gotta sneeze. Phew. It's fun. I forgot to take this key card down. I do this all in fun. Yeah. And anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Definitely tell me your thoughts and feelings. I'm very curious. Very curious. I had a lot of fun with this. Certainly had a lot of I think this was the most fun, the lightest. This was the lightest. I mean, I went hard, but I still feel pretty light. I feel so much better. I feel like a whole world has been lifted off my shoulders. I'm gonna celebrate after this video. I'm like so happy I finally got this off of my freaking chest. Y'all, thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration. I really do truly love y'all. I wish I had your freaking memory. I wish I could understand dynamics like you do. It's amazing. We all have our own gifts, and so embrace that and don't be afraid to look at your weaknesses. We all have them, obviously. And I certainly do want to say C.S. Joseph, he pushes himself out of his comfort zone. And I definitely give him props for that because it has certainly helped myself push myself out of my own comfort zone. Aquariuses, we don't want to be seen. We're introverted. We don't really want to put ourselves out there. We don't like being seen. And Aquarius or Libras, they care deeply about their own comfort, so they don't like to be uncomfortable. And so, yeah, it's just great to be able to learn from each other. So, anyways, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time and take care. And I'll see you in the next video.